All right, it is 5 o'clock. I call this meeting to order. Ms. Vizzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman? Yes, ma'am. Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am.
And Councilmember Coburn is excused.
Okay. Today's invocation is led by Pastor Raymond Duval from Beachside Fellowship Church. Please rise.
Let's pray together. Father, as always, we're so grateful that you love us and that you care for us. And we're so grateful for your purpose and plan for our lives. And we thank you for the plan and purpose you have for Panama City Beach moving forward in 2026. Father, I'm declaring that this year will be the best and most exciting, most fulfilling, most successful, and most prosperous year ever for our community. And Father, I ask today that you would grant wisdom to all of our leaders, to those here on the city council, Father, for every elected and appointed official in the city, that you would guide them and direct them, that they would be sensitive to your spirit and hear your voice. And Father, I thank you today, Lord, even as we navigate the waters that are ahead, Lord, that you will show us exactly what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. For your word says there's nothing hidden that shall not be revealed. So, Father, where adjustments are necessary, we thank you for the strength and the wisdom, Lord God, in order to accomplish those things. And we ask, Father, that you would bless everyone in the city, every one of our citizens, that there would be peace in Panama City Beach. We also thank you in advance for this season that's coming up this spring. Father, we take authority over every evil plan, and we thank you, Lord God, that righteousness and peace will triumph. Lead us and guide us tonight. In Jesus' name,
Amen.
amen.
Amen. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, moving on to community announcements. We only have a few. Our next city council meeting is Thursday, January 22nd at 9 a.m. here at City Hall. And then from Friday, January 30th to Saturday, January 31st, there's the PCB Mardi Gras and Music Festival. That's at Aaron Besant Park. Now I'll move on to the approval of the meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Mazzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. Now moving on to the approval of the agenda and additions or deletions. Mr. Whitman?
No,
Nothing?
sir.
Anything from the council?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms.
Councilman
Mazzoni?
Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. All right, well, now we're going to move on to presentations. I don't see Gabriel. Jessica? Jessica, okay. All right. Jessica, I'd like to present this certificate of special recognition. Congratulations on being selected Boys and Girls Club December 2025 honoree. You have given exceptional service to the Boys and Girls Club, and we would like to thank you for your dedication, your unselfish service to your club and community, and congratulate you for a job well done. Congratulations, Jessica.
That looks the best part. Cheryl, good job.
Is Gabriel here?
Do not see.
All right. That's it. Okay. That's it for presentations. Congratulations again, Jessica. We now move on to public comment on the consent agenda and non-agenda business. Please come up, state your name, keep comments related to Panama City Beach, and you will have 3 minutes.
Good evening, gentlemen. Scott Alman, 137 Johnson Valley Drive. $250 million. That's with a B, billion. That's what we were discussing last meeting, correct? With the Waterworks project? That's a lot of money. And it was talked about very casually here. And I got to ask, is there a ceiling, a prerequisite, like a maximum amount of critical thinking skills that's needed to be here, Mayor? Because this wasn't talked about with any real scrutiny. No one questioned whether this is needed. Is this a project that we have to have? Is this a project that we could scale back in some way? This was treated like it was a foregone conclusion that we need to spend $250 million on a waterworks project here. And the slides that you were given, it was treated like we were going to have a 5% increase. Even Mr. Davis read it as a 5% increase. But in the slides you showed, it just said 5% increase. But it's a 5% over 4 years, 5.5%. That's a 25% increase compounded, and that's never going to go away. That wasn't discussed. This is being mulled over. We're being compared to cities east of us. Of course our rates are going to be less than they are in Mexico City. Mexico Beach, I'm sorry. Their city was devastated. We're comparing our rates to cities east that had been destroyed, that have all this infrastructure from catastrophic infrastructure in there that they had to replace. No one looked at Destin. Destin pays half what we look at. When there's that $8.6 million project for the water, the project about a year ago for the water meters, we looked at Fort Walton Beach. That was missing from all these slides too. Is that not a regional near peer? Why are we now looking at these? Because it would lower the average. It would make it look like we're not paying. It would look like the rate increase is going to be different. That we shouldn't be as fortunate to be paying where we are. And this is a lot of money that honestly there's not a lot of scrutiny that went into this project. And I'm disappointed. I truly am. And I really hope that before we decide to spend $250 million, spending 60% of our reserve fund plus debt that we're not going to pay off in our lifetimes, that this gets a little bit more scrutiny and maybe look at this as individual projects and not a single project that's rolled into a big package. And that I really hope that we can do better. Thank you.
Okay. It took a little while. I didn't realize that was an agenda comment, but we let it go anyway.
Sorry, I didn't see it on the agenda.
Okay.
Are these non-agenda items?
These are consent and non-agenda items, yes. So,
Thank you. Thomas Jefferson once wrote that the fountain of all power is
sir, what is your name?
David Switzer, 323 Alexander. Thomas Jefferson once wrote that the fountain of all power is the people. That is the operating principle of our society. Power in our system is supposed to flow upwards from the people to the government, not the other way around. I want to briefly explain that idea in a physical explanation. The mighty Mississippi is one of the most powerful forces on the continent. It shapes states, economies, and lives, but that strength does not originate in the Gulf of America, nor does it originate in a large city or a government center. It begins in a small, quiet spring in Minnesota. The river's power comes from its fountainhead. Everything downstream, its size, its force, its reach depends on where it begins and how it is fed. Our system of government works the same way. When policies originate with the people, debated openly, adopted transparently, and constrained with clear limits, the power that flows from that is legitimate and it's trusted. But when power originates elsewhere, behind closed doors, through administrative agreements, vendor contracts, or interagency agreements, it may still grow large, but it does not grow right. That brings me to flock surveillance technology and Bayrock. These surveillance programs are not born from public demand. They weren't debated in front of the people. They did not originate from the fountainhead of consent by the people. Instead, it flowed downward from government agencies, law enforcement partnerships, and vendor-driven implementation. Flock is not just a camera. It's a system that records, stores, analyzes, and shares the movements of ordinary citizens, most of whom have never done anything wrong as far as breaking the law or are even a suspect. Once that data begins to flow, its power grows just like the Mississippi River. Without clearly defined banks or limits, oversight, and retentions rules, it will always expand. This is not an argument of public safety. It's an argument about improper use of government power and control. If the fountain of power is truly the people, then the people must be able to see, understand, and consent to the systems that affect them. I'm asking this commission to help return the source of power to where it belongs, and that's to the people. I ask that you cancel your city's flock camera contract until the people can decide if they want flock or not. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Switzer. Further public comment on consent or non-agenda?
Good evening, City Council members. My name is Heather Cormier. I am the owner of Nashville Ultimate Party Bus. We are a family-owned and operated open-air bus company that has been in business since 2018. I'm here today to respectfully request your consideration as we prepare to open our second location in Panama City Beach this spring. Since our opening in Nashville, our company has grown into a well-known attraction for both visitors and locals. We serve guests of all ages and offer both private and public tours. Riding on an open-air bus provides a fun, safe, and memorable way to see Panama City Beach and celebrate special occasions with family and friends. Like many small business owners, we are excited about the opportunity to invest in Panama City Beach. Our goal is to become a positive addition to the local economy by creating jobs, partnering with local businesses, and encouraging guests to patronize restaurants, shops, and attractions throughout the area. Today, I'm asking for your consideration to allow pickup and drop-off access within the Beach District. Whether we are partnering with local businesses, stopping at a commercial property we may purchase, or allowing guests time between pickups to explore and spend locally, access to the Beach District is essential. Without it, our ability to operate successful and efficient tours along Front Beach Road would be significantly impacted. I would also like to proactively address any questions regarding alcohol and safety. Our business model has been proven successful with 0 incidents in 8 years of operation. When alcohol is permitted, we staff a trained onboard host whose primarily responsibility is guest supervision and safety. Our hosts have eyes on every guest at all times, ensuring rules are followed and that everyone remains safe throughout the tour. Safety, professionalism, and respect for the communities we operate in are at the core of our business. We take pride in working collaboratively with city officials, law enforcement, and local partners to ensure a positive experience for both our guests and the community as a whole. In conclusion, our goal is not to disrupt the Beach District, but to complement it by reducing individual vehicle traffic, providing controlled transportation, and supporting the city's emphasis on a safe, responsible tourism town. We are committed to working within the city ordinances, coordinating with local authorities, and adapting our operations to meet Panama City Beach standards. Thank you for your time and consideration. I would be happy to answer any questions and look forward to the opportunity to become a responsible and invested member of the Panama City Beach community.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Cormier. Further public comment on consent or non-agenda business?
My name is Captain Gary Wayne Beck. I live at 2601 Beach Street. Well, the last time I stepped up here, Drew over there had 2 Panama City Beach police officers come over in the county and tell me that I couldn't come speak at this podium. Why? Because once again, 108 Heather Drive, Miss Cindy, which y'all got isolated, y'all got her terrorized, and I don't know how much money y'all have taken from her. But the other day I couldn't help notice that somebody had embezzled the money, and the sheriff says, well, it's $100,000 and that's a capital felony. Well, the people that's been trying to get my property and the people that's been taking Bay County's property, which are y'all people, I'm 100% sure the properties that y'all are taking are over $100,000. So that makes y'all guys what? Felons. And as far as my property goes, I know the property taxes where they tried to get me with that, I had to pay $10,000.
Sir, please keep this relevant to Panama City Beach.
Excuse me?
Sir, please keep this relevant to Panama City Beach, not your personal property
and how
taxes.
y'all racketeering on the people is relevant. It's what I'm talking about is racketeering and, capital felonies. And we still hadn't found out who raped a child. I've been talking to you about that a long time. So has Drew. Drew's known about it for a long, long time. He was police chief when I first told him about it. Did he do anything about it? Did we find out which police chief's dad was guilty of raping a child and child molestation and porn? No, we haven't, have we? And let's don't forget when, the president came to this town and I was second in line to see him behind the original Front Row Joe, and they wouldn't let me in. Why? Because they were scared I was going to take and show them the world what Bay County's been doing to the people. And what else? They didn't want nobody to know my energy invention. Mayor, I showed you my energy invention, and I tried to be sweet to you, and what did you do? Y'all live in a world of delusions. You've got men that run around, dominate, dressing like women, and dominate. You got alpha queers that are taking and running over the people.
Sir,
what?
Please keep
I'm just
this
basing that
relevant
on
to
what took
Panama
over
City
the little
Beach.
old lady, and it takes a special kind of person to do bad things to old
Please keep
people.
this relevant to Panama City Beach.
I'm talking about Panama City Beach. It happened on Panama City Beach. We're talking about Miss Heather. I seen the creatures that told her she owed $42,000 for one day's labor. And we got the vice mayor over there who had the sheriff kick her door in the day that I was standing down at the end of the street, and she's in sheer terror right now. I can only imagine how bad he wants her house because it's nicer than his house, and it's right across the street. And guess what? It's the same sheriff's officer that came out to my house the other day with the code enforcement. You got the same group in on it. You got the freaking, you got the quasi-judicial who rapes everybody of the constitutional rights. Oh, yeah, that's right, Mayor. You said the Constitution don't exist, correct? I got you on videotape, and I bet you believe men can be women too, right? You go, are you kin to that dude that was in Washington, D.C. that stole all the luggage? You kind of favor him. And we got the vice mayor, and we got Drew over here. How long have I been trying to get somebody done? I still got this predator calling me on the phone and torturing me, and I can't get the law enforcement to do it.
Keep it relevant to Panama City Beach.
Do what? It is relevant. Oh, yeah, that's right. Just because it happened in a county, a child molestation happened in a county don't matter, does it?
Go to the appropriate board. Go to the Bay County board to talk to them about it. Okay? Further public comment on consent or non-agenda?
Good evening, Molly Allen. I'm here to change the tone just a little bit. I would like to give praise to one of the Panama City Beach police officers who assisted me in the situation that I had. His name is Jonte Harmon, and he just went above and beyond. I just want to say, and I will be filing a praise report from the City of Panama City Beach's police officers site. I did not know that was a thing, but there is a praise report that you can submit, and so I'll be doing that for Officer Harmon, who went above and beyond to protect and serve not only myself, but the other party. He treated everyone with very great respect, and he, the situation humbled me, let me just say that. So a good segue for the next thing I'll talk about, because Officer Harmon bridged the gap between myself and a neighbor whose children I believed had taken something from my front porch. And in fact, they did not. I was very humbled because they had only come to ask if they could help me cut my grass and pick up my yard. And I saw them on video. I saw a FedEx officer, or excuse me, a FedEx delivery guy come up, delivered a package, and then the next screen that came up was these two young boys that had come to my porch. And when they went out of sight, I assumed that they had taken the package. I thought they were porch pirates. So Officer Harmon bridged the gap between myself and my neighbor, and for that I was thankful. So speaking about young people here in Panama City Beach, as we all know, there may potentially not be enough for them to do, because that's what I thought, that they were just getting in trouble because they didn't have anything else going on. So I just want to mention to everyone that this Saturday, I believe it is from 12 to 1:30, Gulf Beach Presbyterian Church, which is actually older than the city of Panama City Beach, is hosting a luncheon where they are bringing the Children's Advocacy Center together with local churches, schools, nonprofits, and caring community members to build a coalition to assist families and children, just like the ones that I encountered that day, who don't have much in their lives. And so I'm hoping that Gulf Beach Presbyterian Church stepping up in this way with the Children's Advocacy Center will bring a change for our young people here. And so I'd like to invite you. It said to RSVP by the 7th, but I know a member there. That's me, and I would love to see each and every one of you there if you have time on Saturday at noon. It's going to be in the Family Center, which is the secondary building at Gulf Beach Presbyterian Church. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Allen.
Thank you.
Further public comment on consent or non-agenda business? Any further public comment? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Whitman, is there anything you can respond to on there?
Scott's comments, we got that in regular item number 1, so we can address that at that time. In reference to David and the flock cameras, I can answer any questions. If the board or the dais has any questions for me, I can answer those. Same thing with the pedal bus or the bike bar that Heather was talking about. I can answer some of those questions if you have questions for myself or the legal staff. I've already addressed all Beck's concerns in previous meetings, and thank you, Molly, for recognizing one of our officers.
Okay.
Mayor, can I address one thing?
Yep.
Mr. Switzer's comments related to the flock camera contracts. I just wanted to make it clear that those contracts were both approved. The existing contracts we have were approved in Resolution 21206 and Resolution 2361. So they were openly advertised, debated, and passed in the public. So just want to clear that up.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, for the flock cameras, what protections do we have in place to ensure they're properly used?
Well, a lot of people think that the flock cameras, an officer can see the data instantly. They can't. It's got to be in a hot file. A hot file is a program that if someone's car or it's involved in a crime goes into a file. We call it a hot file in law enforcement. Once that vehicle goes through a place that has a flock camera, it hits, and the officer gets an alert that vehicle is in that area where the camera's at. The officer can't just go in there and find out who's driving through neighborhoods or anything like that. The retention's usually 30 days unless it's involved in a criminal crime, and I believe it's up to 3 years unless they need it for court retention after that. But the concept of an officer being able to sit in his car and look at all these videos is false. When I was a chief, and Chief Talamantes can probably answer, there was only one person that had that data, and that was Captain Jason Jones, because he's the person in charge of flock throughout the system. So he could see that data, but he's got to have permissions to go in there as well.
Okay. Yeah, actually, Chief, if you'd be willing to come up and address the utility of the flock and the safeguards you have in place.
Mayor, Council, first, I get the concern. I understand it. As the police chief and your lead law enforcement executive, as much as I understand the concern, I could also provide you with some substance in regards to the success we've had in regards to the utilization of this technology. We have solved hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of crimes utilizing this technology. Our area is unfortunately victimized when it comes to especially violent crime by people that are not from here. People that are from 100 miles away, 200 miles away, they come here for a short period of time, they don't have ties here. This technology has allowed us to rapidly investigate and solve these cases for these victims. I've had many conversations to this date about flock and why we use it, why do we need it. One, criminals have access to technology. We need to be able to use technology to battle that. The license plate reader technology is nothing new. It's been in existence for a very long, long time. We have policies and procedures, audits in place to ensure that the technology is being utilized appropriately. The courts have ruled that there is no expectation of privacy on the roadway, and the images that the cameras are capturing are protected. But with that being said, I get it. I totally understand people's side on this, but it comes to you have a law enforcement agency that is committed to utilizing this technology effectively and ethically. and our officers are mandated by policy on how they can and when they can use it.
Chief, what is the policy if someone does attempt to or does misuse that technology?
Absolutely. You know, depending on the circumstances around it, if it is a violation of policy, we have a discipline matrix in which that officer would fall into. If it is a situation where that officer utilized that technology, which would reach to a level of a criminal activity, that officer will be investigated and arrested. We hold our officers accountable to the highest level because they should be held to the highest level. They are Panama City Beach's finest because we hold them to a high standard. If they misuse that technology, just like every other piece of technology they have access to, they will be disciplined, fired, and if need be, arrested.
Okay. I've noticed some comments about public records request. Might be Mr. Davis. What is is my understanding that you cannot request just any flock data that you want?
Yes, sir. So there's a public records exemption for personally identifiable images, information, data that is captured by an automatic license plate reader. So there are protections in place to prevent that kind of information.
Okay. Yep. Thank you. Further questions from Chief from the council?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Yeah. Listen. I get it too. And you know, up here, it's all trade-offs, right? It's all trade-offs. And so we want to make sure we have policies in place to protect the public on both sides. I think we have effective policies. Mr. Switzer, my card's out there. If you want to talk to me in depth with some of your concerns, happy to discuss them. Okay.
For the record, to my knowledge, no law enforcement has kicked down a door across the street from me, so.
No.
Cindy and I are good friends.
Yeah.
All right.
On the Ms. Cormier, I'm happy to get information about, and you know, what's the current rule on that, Mr. Davis? I don't know if you have that on.
I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to look at that.
Yeah. So maybe you can just get us, send the city manager an email with some of the information and where you think the concerns are. Okay. Mr. Howman, that's a agenda comment, so we'll do it on the next one, if that's all right. It's an absolutely good, valid comment. We just have to do it at agenda time. For Molly, thank you for the invitation, and thank you for the praise. We really do appreciate that. Our police officers here are among the finest, if not the finest, in the state. So they do a great job. And thank you for the Pink Church for hosting.
That was my daycare.
That was your daycare?
That's how long that thing's been around.
Okay. Anything else need to be addressed? Nope. Okay, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. Ms. Fazzoni.
Resolution 2656, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving the purchase of a decontamination washer for the fire department from 10-8 Fire and Safety LLC in the amount of $32,810.04 and agreeing to be bound by the terms and conditions of the Lake County, Florida agreement governing that purchase. Resolution 2657, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving a multi-year agreement with Waste Pro of Florida, Inc., related to solid waste and roll-off collection services for the city facilities in the estimated annual amount of $35,000. Resolution 2658, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving 4-year leases with Quadrant Leasing USA, Inc., for a folder inserter machine for the water billing department and a postage machine for all city departments, and the total lease term, amount of $31,836.96 and $15,748.32 respectively, authorizing postage purchases from Quadrant Finance and an amount not to exceed $30,000 for fiscal year 2026, and agreeing to be bound by the State of Florida Department of Management Services state term contract governing those leases and purchases. Resolution 2659, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, authorizing the city to negotiate agreements with AMI Consulting Engineers, P.A., Pannoni Associates, Inc., David H. Melvin, Inc., Volkert, Inc., and Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc., for structural engineering professional services. Resolution 2660, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving the purchase of one Crack Pro TR-125 and related product for the Public Works Department from Seal Master in the total amount of $82,354.20, and agreeing to be bound by the terms and conditions of the Sourcewell contract governing that purchase. Resolution 2661, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving the purchase of water and reclaimed water meters for the Utilities Department from Core and Main LP in an amount not to exceed $700,000 for fiscal year 2026.
Okay. Some of those titles, wow. Okay. Any-
Motion to approve?
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Mrs. Pizzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Next up, we are on the regular agenda. So regular agenda item number 1 is ordinance number 1673. Mr. Davis.
An ordinance of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, establishing the water, sewer, and reclaimed water rates for fiscal year 2026 and thereafter, increasing the water rates in the amount of 5.5% and increasing sewer and reclaimed water rates in the amount of 7%, all as more particularly stated in the body of this ordinance, repealing all parts or ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, scrivener's errors, liberal interpretation, modifications, codification, and providing an effective date.
Okay. Any public comment on this item? If you want to come up again, because I didn't catch it last time. Go ahead. Yeah.
Scott Howman, 137 Johnson Bayou Drive. First, I want to apologize. I didn't realize this was an agenda item when I looked online, and
It's fine, it's fine.
I didn't mean to go out of turn. I'm not going to repeat everything I said, but I just hope that when you look at this next presentation, you look at it with the light that this is cherry-picked data, that we're using the regional piers that we're using are just the cities east of us that were devastated by Hurricane Michael. We're not looking at real regional piers. We're not looking at Fort Walton Beach. We're not looking at Destin. We're not looking at anything else in the Panhandle. Instead, we're focusing on cities that are actually in South Florida on some of these slides. I mean, I don't really care what Tampa pays for their water. I mean, they have desalination plants in some of these places. This is not appropriate data. This is being cherry-picked to make it look like that the rates that we're paying are lower than what they should be. And yeah, in essence, that we should feel comfortable paying more rates, higher use for our water. The other thing is, about a year ago, the same gentleman who came here, who's going to give this presentation, looked Mr. Register in the eye and said, I need $8.6 million for the water meter project so that we can, save $400,000 a year, and then we could not have rate increases. That same person is coming here now asking for $250 million from you, and also he wants to raise the rates to raise the water rates 25%, and not even being able to say that it's a 25% increase. This is 5.5% compounded over 4 years. And we deserve transparency, and this is not transparency. And if this is the best that we could get, then you should vote no on this, because this needs to be looked at better, and we need to be given fair and honest presentations before moving forward on projects like this. Thank you. Sorry.
Yep.
And again,
No,
sorry
no,
for.
it's fine.
sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay. Any further public comment on this item? Okay. Mr. Ocasio, if you could come up and help us understand this item. I know, and I will just say a little bit to Scott's point. We talked about this for about 50 minutes in December, so it was. I wouldn't call that casual. We spent nearly an hour discussing this. So, but can you talk about how the peer selection? Because I do have. I'm looking at so anyone who's Mr. Howman or anyone who's following at home, in the attached actual study, not the presentation, the attached actual study, it has a table 18 on page 51. It does have Fort Walton Beach on there. We don't have Destin on there, and then the neighboring utilities were just all Bay County.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Destin's base rate is higher than ours, and their per 1,000 gallons is about 30 cents less.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, but before we go, can we speak to the selection of, like, how we selected some of these peers? I mean, I know you only have so much space on a graph, but.
Oh, right. Sorry, for the record, Sean Ocasio, Raftellus Financial Consultants. So in terms of selection, like you mentioned, it's, we're looking at the county, kind of that region. And for the presentation that was done back in December, you may recall there was two graphics. There was the smaller collapsed one that was more the regional, the county, and then there was a larger one that was statewide. What I would mention is we're just trying to look at overall comparability. We're not the graphs themselves aren't the driver of the recommendations. The drivers of the recommendations are the facts that the city is operating in an increasing cost environment. You have projected operating cost inflation that's impacting your utility system. That's going up, projected based on about 5.6% per year on an average annual basis. That's accounting for, chemical costs, power costs, supply costs, personnel-related costs, additional personnel that are being brought onto the utility system over that forecast period. So you have those sorts of costs that are increasing, that are driving the need for the increases. You have your capital plan. There's a significant spending there. That's about a $239 million plan. That's what's in the study right now. What I would note there was the original plan that was a part of our preliminary analyses was actually much higher than that. It was closer to $400 million, and so those project listings were then reprioritized and evaluated to try to mitigate some of the impact to your customers. So there's the capital plan that's part of the cost drivers that are the requirements for these increases. There's the debt associated with the funding of that capital plan. That's also driving the annual cost of the system upwards. So those are the main items that are driving the rate increases, and not so much the overall comparability. We do look at that to try to get a sense of how things are looking. What I would say also anecdotally is what we're seeing with all these other communities that we're working with across the state are, just like you all, everyone is operating in this increasing cost environment. Everyone is having very significant increases in their capital plans, increases in operating costs, new treatment standards and other things that have to be met for their facilities, and those are driving the rates up across the state. We're seeing, on an average basis, probably high single digits to double-digit increases in various communities. South Florida, we've seen some significant increases there. We're seeing that in Central Florida as well. So those are the main things that are actually driving these increases for your utility system. The comparability is just there to try to get a rough benchmark sense of how you all are. And the selection there was then, again, like you said, the county, and then just overall average of communities across the state.
Okay. And like I said, we did spend 40 to 50 minutes talking about this last time, and I do encourage folks who are watching online or in the audience to go review that for substantially more detail. Can you just talk about your methodology, and then I was going to ask Mr. Schaefer to come up and talk about some of the project selection?
Sure. So the methodology, essentially, we're looking at your historical financial records, trends in operating costs over time. We're looking at your capital plan, your projected capital needs over the 5-year forecast period. We're looking at your detailed loan agreements for any existing debts that you're currently paying on. So we're going through all this detailed information to build up our baseline forecast. Then we're looking at your operating budget. We're projecting off of that on a line item basis based on the nature of the expenditure line item is how we project it over time. So we're developing a detailed projection of operating costs. We looked at customer growth to also build that into the projection of revenues for the systems. We're looking at, again, the capital plan, the debt, transfers to go towards the payment of capital items. We're looking also at your required metrics for some of your loan agreements as well. You have what's called a coverage margin that has to be maintained as a part of your loan agreements, and so we're making sure that that's being met in all years of the forecast period. We're also looking at overall liquidity of the system or healthy cash reserves in order to make sure that you have adequate reserves to handle contingency events and then things of that nature. So we're looking at all those things holistically to develop this multi-year forecast, and then looking at how the revenues projected over time compared to the overall expenditure projection over time to then get the projected rate needs.
Okay. All right. Any questions or?
Just clarification. I want to make sure everybody understands it's for the entire island. not just the city limits of the city of Panama City Beach. We service the entire island from the utility standpoint. So a lot of these projects do seem pretty robust, but to remember that we're servicing the bridge to bridge to bridge here, so.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ocasio. Mr. Schaefer, if you could just come speak to the project selection.
Okay, I do, before I answer that or before I go over that, I mean, I just want to emphasize to our audience that this is a financial plan. It is not a commitment to spend X dollars. And each year, the council picks this up and reviews it, and you vote on whether you want to proceed with the recommended modifications each year. So it's not, I don't want to characterize, or it's not accurate to characterize it as we're committing to spend this much. This is a financial plan, and if anything, we're hopeful it's conservative.
Yeah, I think it's conservative. I think it's important that you share what you shared in December as well in this meeting about how we're being proactive and not seeing some of the huge rate increases that we've seen across other municipalities as well.
Yeah, the name of the game is being consistent, and the council has been very supportive, and the previous councils as well have all been very diligent in terms of making these annual adjustments, so nobody's surprised with these big ones. Councilman Jarman, that comment on dust and water users, I was over there scribbling quickly as I was looking up on their website. There's a little trick in their base charge. They don't include the 3,000 gallons that we do in your monthly bill. So they start charging you on the volume charge on the first gallon. So their number actually ends up being total water and sewer for 6,000 gallons is about $88.91, according to my quick math. So it's going to be quite a bit more. Recall, we are like at 50. I need to put my glasses on, don't I?
So we're at.
Excuse me, 60.
Yeah, 61, 65.
61, yeah. So they're another $20-something higher than us. And then another thing regarding how we compare with other utilities and the point about, which is a valid point about comparing with Mexico Beach that's had all that capital need as a result of that hurricane. In the rate study PowerPoint that Mr. Ocasio provided last December, you know, he compared us across 42 utilities, some in South Florida, yes, but it's kind of a spectrum across the state. We were number 6 from the bottom. And with the proposed rate increase, we would be moving to number 8. Next to us would be Walton County at number 7. So we are comparable to other utilities that were not impacted immediately to the west of us as well.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I'm looking at the chart as well.
Yep.
So we have, Walton County, and then
We
City
have
of Fort
existing,
Walton.
and we're on either side.
Yeah. Let me get the combined. And City of Fort Walton Beach.
Can we pull the chart up? Do we have the chart?
Do you want to read a PDF on?
Well, not really.
No, I mean, I was just.
I'm glad I brought my glasses
For
today.
people
Yeah.
that, don't have it on their computer.
Yeah. But yeah, so for City of Fort Walton Beach, their rates are at 92.39, which we're at 61. And I think it is a good point. It is over several years, right? And that's a way of keeping the rate increases low. So at the end of the 4-year period, we would go from the combined 61, 65 up to 78, 85 per the chart. And can you continue and go through what you have here and particularly speak on what these projects are that were included?
I mean, our capital is a combination of not only, new utilities and new extensions and expansions of our wet water and wastewater treatment capacity. There's also a capital investment in replacing assets as they wear out. We've got some lift stations that are older than I am, or close to it, that are due for replacement. Those type of costs are in this as well. From the water standpoint, we're looking at projecting a major investment in our water system to serve existing needs and provide improved reliability for our existing customers, and then also provide additional capacity for future growth. There are some costs for water. We're having to relocate a lot of the utilities on Back Beach Road. That's benefiting everybody, existing and new customers, to make that road wider and improve our quality of life here. But there's a cost associated with that. thus far, we've spent a little over 37 million dollars, and then I'm going to be asking later in the agenda for another $2.5 million on top of that as a result of, a revised cost estimate from the DOT.
Yeah, and I think that really surprises a lot of people, because a lot of people have heard, oh, DOT's paying for it. We have to move these utilities per state.
Yes, we are their guest in their right-of-way, and they make everybody that's in it pay for relocating, their utilities if they're in the way of their mission, which is transportation and drainage, associated with the road. So we are their guests, and we have to move.
But Mark, you're taking advantage of that opportunity to upgrade at the same time, correct, in certain areas where it's needed?
Yeah, recall I've spoken to you about the county having a limitation on how much water they can provide into the eastern input of our system over at McKelvey. And so we're looking at improving the transfer of water east and west across our system. So there's a large transmission main that's planned in the future that would basically follow Philip Griffiths Parkway and then all the way down to Holly Lane and then to McKelvey. And the two water storage systems will be able to shunt water back and forth to make up for any differences or deficiencies in what we're able to furnish.
That's great.
So there's a little bit in it for everybody, basically.
Yeah.
From the wastewater side, that plant is rated at 14 million gallons per day. We have roughly 2.5 million in future commitments just based on what those flows will be. We're running around 10, so we're getting close to capacity of our existing facility where it's time to plan. The wastewater treatment plants take a long time to build and plan and design. And so there's an initial phase that's a major reinvestment in rehabilitating our existing facility because it's been in service. A lot of the tankage, because I did the design on the original or the last expansion, a lot of that tankage was reused and repurposed. So some of it's at the end of its service life. We're going to have to replace it. The treatment standards we have to meet are increasing. They have to treat to a higher standard just about every permit renewal. The state looks at revising that to require additional treatment, and that costs money as well. So there's a two-phase. There's initial primarily rehabilitation effort at the wastewater plant with a modest 1 million gallon per day capacity increase. And then behind that, about 4 or 5 years, is a much larger expansion of that facility of roughly 5 million gallons per day.
Yeah, I mean, I think the comparison method of other municipalities is great, but at the same time, we have to look at what's fiscally responsible for the city of Panama City Beach going forward without even looking at those guys. And we've done a good job at that. And I think the plan that we put together, this council's put together, keeps us ahead of the curve. And we won't see those major spikes and increases because of the infrastructure and the growth that we're experiencing now. We're keeping up with it. And,
exactly.
So, I mean, I look at those, yes, it's great to compare, but at the same time, we're also not growing like those other cities. We're growing exponentially larger and quicker and faster, so we've got to make some changes. We've got to stay ahead. And I think the plan that we put together during that meeting in December addressed all of that. So I appreciate all the work you've done on it.
Oh, it's my team. Everybody's done their part, but the expectation of our customer base is much higher now in terms of reliability, and we need to add a lot of looping and redundancy, so there is very little outage or any interruption of service.
Not to bring up a bad thing, but what we had witnessed, what we had on Thomas Drive, so the focus on water redundancy, I know has been big from the mayor's perspective, and a lot of ours up here is to continue to focus on redundancy of our system and past regimes as well. I know Mayor Sheldon spent a lot of time focused on water redundancy as well. So it's continued to be a future effort, and we're going to take advantage of every opportunity we can to be able to provide.
Exactly.
Invest in improving it.
That's it. That's exactly right.
And it's a natural development of a system. When it's a small rural system, they just have limited redundancy in their system because they have to be financially responsible. They can't just say, well, we need this for this additional reliability for our customers. They're just trying to meet the need. And as it grows and as your customer base grows, then you do have to start investing. And we're in that point now in our system where we need additional looping.
And in the presentations, we talked about our growth. We saw our growth just off the charts, so over that 5-year period, it's going to continue. I don't know how many times you guys drive up and down Highway 79, but every time I do, there's new land cleared. So a lot of growth coming to the city, which is great.
And if growth suddenly stops or slows for some reason, you always have the option to do a true-up study and ask our consultant to revise, maybe look at what our expenditures would be and re-project, because we just have kind of a limited window in our crystal ball. We only look about 5 years
Yeah, that's a great
ahead that's about the only level of confidence that we have is about 5 years. After that, it starts to get a little harder to estimate.
That's right.
But we hope we've been very conservative in our capital. And I know it seems like a very large number, and I'm not trying to diminish that in any way.
Right.
But this is just a financial plan. If it comes in less, then great, then that'll be reflected in either in a true-up study or future rates.
And our past performances indicated that a lot of times it does come in less.
Yeah. Well,
So,
Yeah, I mean, my big thing is, so it would be maybe even politically easy to kick the can down the road and let some other council deal with this, but trying to take small bites out of the apple now to make sure that we're fiscally prudent now to avoid someone else having to do. I mean, we have neighboring municipalities right now that are doing double-digit percentage increases over multiple years.
I was about to say, we have plenty of examples of kicking the can.
yeah.
Yeah.
It never ends
For the
well.
last 20 years, probably at least, each council has done a small increase. I think Al Short started that and had been consistent with it. And doing the small increases keeps you from having to pay me now, pay me later, which years ago, that's what they did. I remember a period of 7, 8, 10 years, no increases, and then when that administration left, they had double-digit 20, 30% increases. Water pipes, sewer pipes, they don't last forever. You have to go in and replace them.
Right.
Neighborhoods, existing neighborhoods, very expensive. So I don't like paying any more than I have to pay, but I do think we have the best water system in Bay County and one of the largest in Northwest Florida, I think.
Yeah,
Tallahassee may be the only other city that has one.
Yeah,
Pensacola,
we're the
as large
largest.
as we have. So it takes money to keep it going and keep up with the capital cost, inflation, and operating cost. I mean, it's a business. It's a big business. And so you have to set money aside. And I just, if a council ever starts not doing these increases, I think we're going to find ourselves back in a situation where we're going to not be able to catch up.
Yeah, because then it becomes politically unpalatable to do that, so it's easier to kick it down the road.
There's nothing else. I motion to approve.
Okay, thank you. Anything else from Mr. Schaefer?
Second.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Fazzoni?
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, moving on to regular agenda item number 2, Resolution 2662. Mr. Davis.
A resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, authorizing a budget amendment to reappropriate expenditures in fiscal year 2026 for items originally included in the fiscal year 2025 budget.
Okay, any public comment on this item? Any public comment? Okay, seeing none. Holly?
Or Ms. Deborah.
Oh, Deborah, could you, or, I'm sorry.
Almost got out of
Ms.
it.
Gibson, sorry. Sorry. Hey, I tried to.
Hey, you did a great job. She was just looking at you like,
Tried to keep it up
not
there.
me.
Holly enjoyed that too much.
So the budget amendment that you have before you tonight is a routine budget amendment that is prepared each year, but it's a very important budget amendment for the city's budget. It moves certain expenditures and grant revenues from where we planned to use it last year in fiscal year 25 to the current year 2026. And this is moved mainly, or it is because of timing differences with completion of projects and also the invoicing of these projects, or invoicing of, that we have not received, that we have to pull over into this next year, and also updates our cash carry forward, excuse me, amounts to reflect the actual increase over what was previously projected. And so these budget amendments ensures our budgets are up to date, and also that we have accurate budgets as we move forward.
Okay, and these, so this is mostly timing issues, and these are all things we've already approved up here.
It is yes,
There's
sir.
no substantial change, it's just
No, it's just,
accounting.
it's timing
I
issues.
shouldn't say just accounting, but
Timing
yeah.
issues between completion of projects and invoicing.
Okay, all right, questions from the council?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Gibson.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Pizzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Tettemer?
Yes, ma'am. We now move on to regular agenda item number 3, resolution number 2663. Mr. Davis.
A resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, and ex officio the Panama City Beach Community Redevelopment Agency approving an interlocal agreement with the Bay County Board of County Commissioners related to the use of portions of the M.B. Miller Pier property in furtherance of the Front Beach Road Segment 4.3 project.
Okay, we're going to do public comment first.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Any public comment on this item? Okay, come on up. We do public comment first so that if there's anything that comes up in public comment, we can address it. Yeah.
Makes total sense. I didn't know if you wanted a summary first.
Nah.
This in many ways is just like a right-of-way agreement. We are acquiring right-of-way from the county. Because we are acquiring it from the county, it doesn't take the form of a regular purchase agreement that you're used to seeing. There is no purchase price. We are not exchanging money. This is not a straight purchase. We will be resurfacing their entire vehicular surface area at the county pier at the conclusion of our project because we will be affecting a material portion of it. We are acquiring this land in order to put stormwater facilities underground, underneath the parking lot at the M.B. Miller Pier, right along the city's right-of-way for 4.3.
Okay, and so this is an agreement with the county for land we need under the county pier for
That's correct.
stormwater.
This is the city will acquire a perpetual easement in these stormwater facilities and the ability to construct them.
I want to make sure we're clear, under the county pier parking lot.
Pier parking lot, that's
Pier
right.
parking lot.
Yeah,
Make sure, I don't
Yes,
want
sir.
to get anything
yeah,
misconstrued.
Yep.
We casually
Good point, good point.
refer to it as the pier property. But
Yes.
it
And
is
in
the parking lot.
exchange, they get a parking lot paved.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
There is a diagram in your agenda package that
Yeah.
shows the exact, it's a little bit more than half an acre, and it's not a straight strip, but it is a rectangle closest to the right-of-way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Amy.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Pizzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Tettemer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, we now move on to regular agenda item number 4, resolution number 2664. Mr. Davis.
A resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving utility work order change number 1 to the city's agreement with the Florida Department of Transportation for the widening of Panama City Beach Parkway between Richard Jackson Boulevard and the Hathaway Bridge to add $2,454,550 for a cost estimate increase and authorizing a budget amendment.
Okay, any public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, is Mr. Schaefer, could you come? Sure. You alluded to this in a previous comment, but. I did. Yeah.
As you know, the DOT requires the city to pay or to provide the funding for the utility relocation prior to advertising the highway construction contract, which will be let in March of this coming year, or this year, excuse me, we're already in January. They base how much the city has to pay for upfront security for utility relocations based on the engineer's estimate, and they revised their estimate upward slightly, roughly $2.5 million. Again, we've asked and they've agreed to advertise this as a unit price contract. There is, as I mentioned earlier, an element of new expansion which is a 30-inch transmission line, water transmission line crossing that will go across the highway while it's open. It's much less expensive to cross it at that time. So that's in that contract. Should you not want to proceed with it, if the bid prices come in, something more than what we feel is reasonable, we can always back that out by change order, as well as any other component within it. But this is a conservatively high number of what our contribution would be to relocate those utilities.
Okay, and so the state requires us to pay this all up front, and
Yes.
So we're clear, this is from Richard Jackson to the Hathaway Bridge.
Yes, sir.
The additional lanes for Back Beach
It's
Road.
for 6-laning Back Beach Road, and the DOT, by state requirement, requires all utilities to furnish basically an upfront security so that they can let the contract, because they are not going to pay for relocating our utilities.
Okay.
So if the price comes in higher, you could be coming back asking for some more money. If it comes in lower, we could get a refund. Is that right?
Right? If it comes in lower, then we'll get it reimbursed immediately, but if we negotiate some things out, say you don't want to do the crossing at this point in time or something else, we can always back it out of the contract.
Okay. No other discussion. I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. Ms. Mazzoni, please call roll.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Tettemer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, we now move on to reports. City manager report.
No report tonight. I just want to wish everybody a Happy New Year.
Okay, no reports. City attorney report.
No report.
No report from the city attorney. Okay. Councilman Casto?
Yes, Mayor, I'd just like to commend the fire department for having a great grand opening on the new fire station on the east end of the beach. You know you're getting old when you see, I saw that fire station is 40-something years old, be built, and now I'm seeing a new one being built, and it's just, I just warmed my heart to see that and know what you guys had to work out of all these years. And so I'm happy that I've lived long enough to see this addition, and hope you guys enjoy it for many years and serve our community well with it. Thank you.
Okay.
That's all I need.
Thank you. Yeah, Councilman Register?
Yeah, I think it's important. I'm the elected TDC member from this council, so just want to address what's going on with the TDC a little bit and my stance on that. I understand the community's concern, frustration, uncertainty that everybody's feeling right now, because I feel the same way. I think that I know that TDC and CBB are funded by public dollars, and when situations like this, it shakes the public's trust, and that's not okay. I know that trust matters deeply to me, and I know it matters deeply to this council, and it's something that must be protected. Currently, the sheriff's office is conducting a full and independent investigation, and it's critical, I believe it is critical, that we allow the law enforcement to do their job without interference, guys. We must respect due process while also demanding answers. In addition to the criminal investigation, the TDC has initiated a comprehensive forensic audit as well. This audit will thoroughly review financial records, procedures, and internal controls so we can clearly understand what occurred here and what must change immediately. I was raised in my grandfather's woodworking shop to measure twice and cut once. I want to get all the facts straight before we start doing any knee-jerk reactions or any of those things. So I trust in our sheriff wholeheartedly, and I know he's going to give us a full investigation, and we will look at that, and you guys have my word to move forward and make the changes necessary that we need to do at the TDC. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman Register. Vice Mayor?
I'll add to that statement some important facts. You know, the city of Panama City Beach is a separate organization from the TDC. Councilman Register and myself sit on the board, but just like we are council members here, we're not allowed to do any day-to-day operations. We are forbid from engaging in that activity. Like Councilman Register said, there are investigations going on. Our outrage is to the same level of everyone else's, that something like this occurs that can put a dark mark on an organization that has done some excellent good work for the community. And it's disheartening, and it causes some anger as well towards the person or people that did it. So we have a TDC meeting on Tuesday, and I'll probably speak more at that meeting since it concerns that organization.
Okay, thank you, Vice Mayor. Well, yeah, congratulations on the new fire station, Chief. And thanks to Finance, thanks to particularly Senator Trumbull and Representative Griffiths for helping to get some state allocation so that we could get that station done as efficiently as possible, as cost efficiently as possible. We built essentially 2 stations approved by previous councils. Built 2 stations that are nearly identical. I think they did move the break area.
The doors are, no, the doors are.
Is that, did that account for the 6-month difference in finishing, or?
No comment.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, congratulations. This is a wonderful station, and thank you everyone who showed up. We had a great community outpouring there. A lot of folks who are very nearby are happy that that station's open. You know, I'm not on the TDC board, and I fully trust our council members here to handle the TDC board, but I think the issue with the CVV does emphasize the value of a regular review of financial policies and their implementation. I know the staff does that regularly, in fact, have already started it again, but I would like to see just an up-to-date review in the wake of the incident for the CVB on the city's P card, which is the credit cards, financial control policies and their implementation. If we can just get like an update, some written update that we've, what the policies are, and particularly the implementations, because policies are great, but make sure we've reviewed the implementations. No one in the city was implicated in this at all. It's a totally separate organization, but it emphasizes the need to do regular reviews of this. So, you know, just kind of good hygiene there. So that's, if the council's amenable to that.
Yeah, no, we made, let's say, we had an audit report and made some control changes in 2020, 2021, something like that. And so, yeah, it's always worth a look.
Yep. I mean, okay. Good, all right. Other than that, I wanted to thank everyone for the robust public comment today. You know, there's a lot, we touched on a lot of things. You can always reach all of us, and so feel free to reach out if you want to talk about these things one-to-one. With that, God bless you all. Our next meeting is Thursday, January 22nd at 9 a.m. here in City Hall. This meeting is adjourned.